Oh, Kim, kom! Kom och join the fun. Kom.
Åh, hej. Åh. Hej gris. Hej gris.
Hej gris!
Ja, hej gris. Och du är så fin.
Welcome back to a questions and answers. Welcome back to a Q&A. It was a really long time since we did one of these.
Almost a year.
Oh, it was when we were on Lincoln. Was that the last time?
Hey, Ricky. Hey. All right.
It was minus 25 degrees. It was 20 degrees. It was really cold, but it was beautiful. So what we've done is I have asked people on my Patreon, my patrons, to ask us questions. So if you want to be able to ask questions for videos like these, you can head to the link in the description to our Patreon. So let's just get straight into it. We have about 10 questions today because I'm thinking we're not going to keep it too long and we'll make it into more videos if we need to. So we're just going to do 10-ish solid questions. Okay, Angela, what does Christoffer do for work?
Yeah, I stopped work at the lawyer,
Warehouse?
The warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
And now I work with Cecilia.
I have an employee, guys! It's so exciting. So Christoffer stopped working at the warehouse about a month ago and started working with me, which is just so helpful. So he's gonna run the whole print side of the business because that takes up a lot of time and effort that I don't have on my own. So I was like, I'm gonna outsource it to Christoffer. And we really took a chance on just you quitting your job because we didn't know at the beginning of this fall how we would have enough income for it. At the moment we do, and I just kind of said, you know what, let's try, because it's so worth it if we're able to do all of these like trips together and work together, because we are like dependent on each other when we do all of this. Like if we want to go out on a trip, I'm sitting here like I can do whatever with my time and work around my schedule, but he before had to get up at 4 in the morning to go to work and go to work, you know, till 2 p.m. and then we were just on completely different schedules. So we kind of prioritized I did anyway, with I want our life to be exciting. So I'll take the chance and I hope I'll make enough money for 2 people, and at the moment I'm doing that, so I'm just very happy about it.
Yeah, this is gonna be way more easy to do what we want to do.
Yeah, exactly. So when the snowmobile season comes, instead of us before having to wait for the weekend to be able to go away, now we can just go whenever we want and just work our schedule around it. And I feel I'm so excited about that.
That's gonna be...
Also, a big problem this year was that when we go on snowmobile trips and we go on weekend trips, we rent these remote cabins that I've showed you. I'll insert some footage of some of them. And to do so, we have to kind of go into a lottery for every weekend. So you never know where you're going to go or if you're going to get a cabin. And this year we got barely none because there was so many people applying for it for the weekends. But this year we can apply for the weekdays. And let me tell you, 90% of the cabins are empty during those days.
Yeah.
So we're going to be able to go to every cabin that we want, probably, and go in the weekdays without the stress. Because imagine before, you bought everything, you got ready, and then you waited to figure out if you actually got one. And on Wednesday, you received a text saying, or you didn't receive a text, so you didn't get a cabin. And then what was your plan for the weekend, you know? It's just boring.
Yeah, this is gonna be... It's gonna make it more easy.
This video is sponsored by NordVPN. Did you know?
No.
You have NordVPN.
Yeah.
You use it all the time.
Yes.
Because we are, as you know, from Sweden and half hybrid over here, Norwegian and Swedish. So to access all of our favorite shows back home, we have to use a VPN. So why I love NordVPN is because it's super safe. There's no data logging, and it unlocks Netflix and stuff. So we can also watch Netflix shows from around the world. That's also been very good. So right now NordVPN is having a holiday deal. Go to nordvpn.com/Cecilia to get a 2-year plan plus 1 additional month with a huge discount. Yeah, that's what you have on your phone. I treated you to this. So check it in the description. It is written. And thank you so much to NordVPN for sponsoring today's video. Let's get back to the questions. All right, let's see. Oh, I love this question. So I think I'm going to say the name correct. Deiruna? Where would you go if living in Svalbard wouldn't be possible anymore, for whichever reason? Sweden, Norway, maybe Portugal, or somewhere entirely different. And why would you choose that place?
Oh, so difficult. But Canada, Alaska, Norway, maybe Iceland, Greenland.
That's so true. I think, but we've spoken about this sometimes and said, okay, where would we actually live if we wouldn't live here? I think I've landed on that I would love to live in Norway because I love Norway. I just like the country and I love the landscape.
The landscape is really nice.
So I would move to Norway and I would stay most of the year there if it was like ideal. And then I would be in Portugal for like 3 months out of the year. This is like if we could do whatever we wanted, not unlimited money, but whatever we wanted without, travel restrictions.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's me.
Norway
What
is
would
a
you
good
do?
option.
Because Alaska is amazing, but I think the American system is a little bit difficult.
No.
If I would think like practically, could I be able to move there? I don't think I could afford moving there, But it seems
difficult
like
to
one
get
cool place. Same with Iceland. Expensive.
Yeah.
I want to travel there, but I don't know. Oh, I could probably live there. They have cool,
I think Canada probably that could work.
Yeah, definitely love. I have not been to Canada. It's at the top of my list. It seems like an amazing country. Again, nature, landscape, people. Apparently, I haven't been, but it seems amazing.
Yeah. Canada
Yeah, I want to go
seems
there.
nice.
But it's always different when traveling to somewhere or living there. And I think I would just choose Norway out of the fact that I really like how easy it would be to just buy a house and,
Start.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, this one is about food. Lorraine's question. And she asks, do you eat lutefisk and lefse? We're in Norway, by the way, ish. So we go under Norwegian cuisine because we're on Svalbard, which is governed by Norway. But we're Swedish.
Norway eat a lot of lutefisk and lefse. I like lutefisk and lefse.
What
really
is
nice.
lutefisk?
Lutefisk is lutad cod. I don't know the English term for it.
But so it's cod.
Yeah, you put it in lut and then stay for
Oh, in lut. So it's a thing you make it into lutefisk.
Yeah.
I've had it. It's good. I think what I like the most were the things around it, like the bacon butter.
Yeah. Everything around is really
Yeah,
nice.
it's all the things with it that I really enjoyed. The fish itself is a little bit slimy.
Yeah.
But I do also love cod.
Yeah.
And lefse is potato bread.
Yeah. You have so many different recipes, but you have this with potatoes.
She also asks, do Norwegians still eat it at Christmas time? And yes. Very much so. Okay. Ali asks, would 5 days stay on Svalbard during the winter months be long enough to see the northern lights? This one's a bit tricky because you never know when there's going to be northern lights. Like right now, we haven't had any aurora for 10 days, basically. But before that, we had it every single day, in the morning and in the evening, during the day, all day long for like 2 weeks. But last year, I remember, because I can see when I've taken photos, so I can kind of go back and see, okay, what was a good month? And last year, I didn't take basically a single aurora photo in December because we had so many storms. But this year, it's been a good year. You never know. And I think 5 days is like a good amount to kind of give yourself a good chance, but I don't know. I wouldn't say that it's like the optimal amount, but it's impossible. If you come in October, I think that's a really good time. Then 5 days would probably give you a good chance because it's crispy. It's just before. It's not going to be snowstormy. February the same. February is also a good month. But I'd say the worst months for Aurora, for me when I've taken photos, is November and December, generally. But that doesn't apply to this year.
No, it was a good year.
So it's always difficult to say. I'm going to move around a little bit because we're sitting on the floor here in front of our beautiful Christmas tree. And behind Christoffer is a very toasty fire. So we are sweating a little bit. All right. Do you speak any other languages besides Swedish, Norwegian, and English, even if not fluently? Does your parents speak Portuguese? Because my parents live in Portugal, if you don't know. So I'll start with me. I'm Swedish. I moved abroad and I lived in Ireland when I was younger, so I used to have a really thick Irish accent, and it comes out if I speak to Irish people or if I just channel it. But I made it go away because I was working in hospitality, and I'm not kidding when I say that nobody understood what I was saying in Sweden. So it just became Americanized. It was never like this before, but I kind of like it. It's just like a neutral accent for us. Also, we watch American television all the time. I'm sidetracking. Okay. So I lived in Spain for a year, so I speak basic enough Spanish to be able to get myself around. My mom speaks quite good Portuguese because she's really good at languages, so she can get herself understood. My dad, a little bit, they know enough words and they're like enough to be able to order stuff and ask for things in Portuguese, which I think is cool.
I speak mostly. I speak Swedish and English.
Yeah, and Norwegian.
Norwegian is an
If you
accent.
want, but if you want to speak Norwegian, you can do. Okay, also, sorry, I'm not going to interrupt him all the time. But Norwegian and Swedish, pretty much same language. Also not the same language, but we have almost the same words, a little different spelling. Some words are different. It's so similar that we speak to each other in our own languages and the other person understands exactly what you're saying. Give or take a few words.
Oh.
But your parents are Norwegian, but
Yeah.
he grew up in Sweden when he was younger.
Yeah, my father, he speaks Norwegian. My mother speaks Norwegian and Swedish. I speak Swedish and English.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Jessie asks, do you know if there is much of a LGBT community on Svalbard and if there are any Pride celebrations? And yes, we celebrate the Pride Parade. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Pride Festival. The Pride Parade every year, and the whole village is involved. So there's music, there's a parade, the schools are involved. Like Longyearbyen itself is a very open and, welcoming community. And diversity, whether it's nationality or your sexuality, is welcomed here. welcomed here. So, yeah, I would say that it's very welcoming. But then again, I'm not part of the community, so I can't speak for them. But we do celebrate Pride and everything. And I know we really enjoy it. Oh, I love this one. Okay, hey West Point crew from Doug. Can you teach us Grim's language, aka the Swedish Norwegian words he understands? I think we need a demonstration. Grim! Grim! He's just here and he's ignoring me. Grim! Hello Grim! Grimka, kom! Jag pratar med dig. Jag kom. Ja. Kom. Oh, that was a slow walk. Come hit.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a zombie. Okay, so Grim grew up with Olivia and Einar, who spoke Norwegian to him. Look also how dark he is. So Grim answers to Norwegian commands. But Norwegian commands are quite similar to Swedish. But so kom is the same in Norway and Sweden. So it's kom, which means come here. Come here. Come. And then we have what I always say, du är så flink. And flink means good. And that's Norwegian. So du är så flink. Jag är flink. So when he's done something good, he's flink. I'll put it on the screen. What else? Varsågod is the one he knows. It's the same in both languages. It means here you go, or you're welcome to. It's kind of you're welcome and here you go. What else do you know? You know sit, and then oh, the best one is that they taught him, it's such a good one. It's go to bed. So it's gå och lägg dig. So whenever he's begging for food or, he's doing something that he shouldn't or, he should go to bed. He goes to bed if you tell him, gå och lägg dig. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm still impressed that he does. He looks at you like, don't you do that to me. Do not tell me. And then he's like, fine, I'm going to bed. The cute little baby. But Grim is at the same time, super easy to teach commands to and also impossible. I taught him pang, where you shoot him and lay down, in literally one evening. But I've not managed to teach him anything else since then. It's like his brain is full. But he, like, one evening, I taught him this trick. And he's like, I got it. And then I tried to teach him heel, and he's like, absolutely not. And then I tried to teach him to stand in between my legs, and he's like, it's super scary. I'm not gonna do that. Those little legs? No, not for me. Very funny. Okay, Karen asks, are you hoping to start a family in the future? It's just curiosity. So we don't know is the honest answer. I've always wanted kids, I thought, and then I'm suddenly 32 and I'm like, well, when is the right time? I don't know. We haven't decided. We're gonna see what happens and what we do. It's quite a project up here because you can't give birth on the island because our hospital can't, they don't have enough facilities for you to give birth up here. So that's what it's all about. But for us, we don't know. We haven't chosen and we haven't decided. We don't even know if we can have a baby. A little Christoffer. I always joke that he would come out with an axe, like a full beard. I'm like, hi mom. Or just like a complete like, hi dad. We can name him Viking. That's a good, strong name. Why am I saying it's a him? We don't know. We're gonna figure it out. Who knows? We have Grim. I'm quite happy with that. I don't know. Have you always had like, I need children?
No.
You've always been like, whatever you want to do. Feels like either or. You could do with kids and you can do without. Is that right?
Probably life is much easier without.
Yeah.
It's gonna change our whole lifestyle to get a kid.
Yeah, it would. Grim changed our whole lifestyle. I love Grim, but I mean, I did buy like a carriage for him, so we can go on snowmobile trips.
Ja, så duktig. Kom.
Kom igen!
So, I
But
don't know. Yeah.
time will tell.
Yeah, time will tell. Very, very true. We're going to take it as it comes. Rosmac asks, are you planning a holiday together next year and where would you like to go? Will Grim be going to?
If you have a Finnish laphound,
He stays on the island. Yeah,
he don't like the warm weather.
No.
You're not supposed to have this kind of dog if you go to a warm place.
No. And also, for his best, I don't want to take him out of this environment because he would get so stressed. He doesn't enjoy the heat, so I had him in Sweden for 1.5 months before I owned him because, well, such a long story, but it was amazing. I got to have him there. But flying him down was the most stressful situation for both me and him. I was miserable. He was miserable. He did fine, but it's just a lot of unnecessary stress for our enjoyment. You know what I mean? He will always be better just staying up here. He will be a happier pup just staying in the house with somebody staying here with him than changing his entire environment for a month or a week, you know. I can't do that to him.
He loves the summers, yes, when it's like 8 degrees. He wants to stay
here.
outside all the time. And if we go to Sweden or Norway and it's like 20, 25, it's going to be warm.
Yeah, when I was in Sweden, the first day it was 28 degrees Celsius and he tried to dig a hole in the sand to get out of the sun. Like, he did not understand what the hell, he hated it. But after a while he got used to it, but at that time we were home for like he was going to be in Sweden for 3 months. So that's a difference. But I mean, I don't think he loved it, but he definitely got more used to it, but I had to like make a shade for him. But no, I wouldn't take him on vacation. But also, if we're going to go on vacation next year, so I don't know because the current climate of travel in the world is a bit difficult, I feel. And there's no stress for me to have to go somewhere. I'd like to see my parents in Portugal if it's possible and if it doesn't require too much work. That's what I feel like.
Oh,
But that's also just like the first few months I'm thinking about, because who knows what happens after, you know, a few months. So I just generally don't plan that much. I don't plan vacations far ahead. What I feel about living up here is that there are so many seasons that I don't want to leave. So for me, February and on towards May, I never want to leave because that is our snowmobile season. And that's the season we're waiting for. Months that I don't have to be here are May and June because they are in between months. So those are kind of the ones that I usually leave open for travel.
and then I have to be here.
Because he has to do work with getting the dock up and everything. So I don't know. I don't travel. We don't travel that much anymore. We usually go to Portugal or we go to Norway and Sweden. But I've traveled so much before this, and so have you before moving here. I think for me, I'm quite content in how much of the world I've seen. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think maybe I'm gonna go to Sweden because it's
Been 7 years.
I think 8 years ago then since I've been visiting my mother.
That's crazy, man.
So maybe I go to Sweden.
Absolutely crazy that you haven't been home in 8 years. So I think you should do that. Okay, I love this one. Geo asks, I have seen from your videos that there is a big migrant community from Ukraine, Russia, and Thailand. When these people move to Svalbard, do they find a job quick? Or do they arrive with an existing job offer? Generally, when you come to Svalbard, you will have a job and an apartment before, because you need to. Because otherwise you probably won't get either. So you can come to Svalbard, and it's almost easier if you have an apartment and not a job. You can probably sort it out. But if you have a job and no place to live, friends of ours have had to move because they've never found accommodation. It's a little bit better now than it was 2 years ago. But if you have an apartment here, you will probably jump around within jobs. There's people change jobs, I feel, every other month. People just switch, you know, like, no, I'm gonna go there instead. Because when you're in the job market here, it's very easy, or it's easier to find a new job. But it's all about living place.
I know a few people who's been here like on a holiday, and they take it with mix to leave a CV. What do you call it?
Yeah. They've gone
So-
out with their resumes when they've been here visiting for vacation.
Yeah, so they go around and ask for job, and
That's also another question I often get is, where do you find jobs? Like, are they posted somewhere? And same about buying an apartment or renting one. This is the thing. Svalbard is very locked. You will find everything if you're in this community. If you're not in this community, you won't have access to any of this. Also, you can only buy property if you're a local. So none of that goes outside of our kind of little zone. If you're looking for an apartment to rent, there also isn't like Craigslist. There's Facebook, and when one comes out for rent, it's going to be rented out within a few days.
few hours.
That's like how it is. Like, okay, we see one coming up for rent maybe every other month, you know? And they go like this. So to find a job, come here, get your resume, walk around. You don't have to speak Norwegian at every place. I'd say half. You can do well with English at half of the jobs that we have here. I would
You
think.
need English.
Yeah, definitely. You need English. And any other Scandinavian language applies as Norwegian sometimes, I would say. If you speak Swedish or Norwegian or Danish, you will be able to take almost any job that is Norwegian, you know. So, yeah. Okay, here it is. Brittany asks, we were wondering if there are police on Svalbard. I know you said that there was very little crime, just petty theft in a prior video.
We have about I think we have under 10 police officers up here who are actually policemen
In uniform.
in uniform, and about maybe 45-50 people who work at the Sysselmester office, like the building, but they work with the
Environmental laws, because it's the governor's office. So within the governor's office, you have like 50 employees, but 6 active police people. that are out policing. Not at all times. I've seen them about, I don't know, a couple of times.
So, but they do a lot of other things up here that has with safety to do. So it's really good that we have this.
But when it comes to crime, we don't have a lot of crime at all. So we have a lot of, petty theft. Like you go out to drink on the weekend and you come home with somebody else's shoes or somebody else's jacket. That's, I'd say half of the time gets returned. Half of the time it just never shows up. So I don't think we've had really anything. We had our first armed robbery of the bank a few years ago. It was very dramatic, but it was more a cry for help than anything else. Nobody got hurt, but I think it was quite shocking to the city. But other than that, we go under the same laws as in Norway when it comes to punishment and stuff. So if you get into a bar brawl, you probably will get a little bit of jail time on the mainland. So I wouldn't say they're more lenient up here. I'd say they follow just the same as they would in Norway.
So it goes by that.
So it's Norwegian laws, but also some of them are applied to Svalbard. But generally it's the same. There's no drinking and driving. We're under the same stuff as Norway is. So, but no, not a lot of crime. I've never felt more safe being in any place in the world than up here. And here, your biggest threat is a polar bear. I think that says so much. I will gladly walk out here in the dark with polar bears maybe lurking around the corner. But for me, walking in a city at night in Europe is terrifying. So I think that's pretty interesting train of thought, isn't it?
You're quite safe up here.
I think that's it for today. Many questions, fun questions. We're going to answer some more in the next Q&A, which will be probably before a year. Again, we're not going to take this long. It's Christmas soon.
Yes.
In like a few days. Or in like 1 day, 2?
In a few days.
Something like that. That's crazy.
Happy Christmas time.
Crickets. Olivia was here and gave us so many presents. Also, Fenris is arriving today. He's going to stay with us for 10 days. And if you don't know who Fenris is, it's Grimm's brother. Not by litter, but by household. So Grimm's going to be very upset that his bigger brother is moving in with us because he gets so competitive. And he nips at his legs to tell him off when we don't see. So we're going to be on Grimm. Behave. It's really bad behavior. I'm not proud of that. He'll bite his butt when we don't see it. Who does that? So Grimm, he's going to be in for a surprise when he wakes up after, to Fenris. He's going to be like, he's still here? So that's going to be very exciting. And yes. Cheers. Did you finish your coffee?
Almost.
Thank you for today.
Thank you for today.
There was something I was going to say. I don't know. We'll see you guys soon. And also, like we said, if you want to join our Patreon, we would love that. We post some extra content. We put up a lot of photos for digital downloads. I try to give you guys behind the scenes. And I think next year we have a lot of fun stuff planned as well. We might start a podcast. I really want to. It's just about planning again. Time and planning. But I think we are going to sit down and do brainstorming session and we're going to get that done. So if you want to do that, join. Otherwise, cheers.
Straight cruising, headed for a bruising, watching out for number one. You gotta slow down, look around you, son. Today is just a day and